Hello and welcome to an episode of Craftin' Crazy. Not married to that yet, but we'll see how that goes. What I wanted to talk to you today is needle felting. I was always reticent to try needle felting just because it looked so complicated, and then once I tried it and I realised how insultingly easy it was, I was quite upset. But a lot of people are scared to give needle felting a try, like I was. So I just want to talk about some of the basics of it so that you can see what it's like, basically. When I first started, I really did not have a clue. I had the most basic of materials. And this is one of the first things that I needle felted. It is a little Cthulhu. It's little wings, little tentacles, and this was made with cheap wool. It wasn't even made with needle felting wool. This was made with like a 60p ball of wool, which I cut into lengths and then brushed through with like a cat brush, and that actually did turn it into something that I could needle felt with. I mean, you can still see the difference, really, like between this and proper needle felting fibres. But that is one of the first things that I ever made, needle felting, and I was completely clueless. One thing I have discovered is that if you use... I'm just going to pop him over here. If you use something as a base, it's much better, and pretty much all the rest of these are ones that I've used bases on. This little owl, this is all pipe cleaners. These. I just bought a big pack of pipe cleaners, and I built an aperture, a base. I made a very rough shape and filled it in. So you can see the little feet. They're still uncovered because I just liked them like that. But all of the rest of this is pipe cleaners. But there is something easier than pipe cleaners, which are these polystyrene eggs. These were an Easter buy, and this was a variety pack. I think it was 80p, and they came in a variety of sizes. And I've used these a lot. So this little Pikachu is an egg base. You can see here, that's the little egg. This whale, that was an egg base. And I've used pipe cleaners in the tail. I had to, and the fins. I had to feel that to see. Plankton here is pipe cleaners and an egg. Plankton from SpongeBob SquarePants, that I love. This giraffe is all pipe cleaners. And this was a mix of a fibre that I'd made myself from a ball of wool because I couldn't find this exact yellow. And the base yellow underneath is sort of an off yellow, so it's a very light coat of it covering, but that's the little giraffe. And then this was an attempt to make a porg from memory. No reference material, just from memory. This was my little porg, and that's an egg base, which is why he's all school with and not quite right, bless him. This is a work in progress. This is not finished, but this is going to be an alpaca. Its neck's not long enough to technically be an alpaca, but what is special about this is it's made using this and this, which is not needle felting wool. This is this is alpaca wool. I went to an alpaca farm and I asked very nicely at the alpaca farm if I could have some of the wool, just the scrap wool, and this is it. They let me have it for free. So I'm making this little alpaca who is looking a bit dopey at the minute because he's not quite finished, and But I like it because it's so soft, because alpaca wool is the softest stuff in the universe. I'm just going to stand some of these guys up back here. Cthulhu. These crafting beads are really good for eyes. It took me ages to find something like this, and I finally found them in Hobbycraft. These are 5mm pearls in black. I've used them for the eyes on the little alpaca, but I'm thinking I actually need to get some bigger ones. I think the bigger ones are probably going to look better. As for tools, I've got 3 types of tools. This is just a regular needle I used to sew the eyes in, here in my little foam block. These are needle felting needles. I don't think the camera's going to focus on this because it's too thin. I'm going to try though. And yes, I still have a cold, which I'm very sorry. Ah, there we go. So this is a barbed needle. It's very, very faint. You might not be able to tell very well, but it's got these tiny little barbs on the needle. And you can buy like a 6-pack of these very cheaply. But I like to use this. This I got from Boys for like £1.70. This is a needle felting pen. If you break it, you just have to buy a new one, and I have broken about 5 of these. But they're quite cheap, so I just keep rebuying them. And then this is a needle felting multi-tool. Ow! Yeah, if you're anything like me, you're going to stab yourself a lot. This is a needle felting multi-tool. You can actually lock this cap off so you don't accidentally stab yourself, but I never do. So I always stab myself. But this is for doing large areas, not for detail work. And it's very easy. These go in here if you break one. And breaking them is very easy. And when you first start, you will probably break quite a few. So my advice would be to get a variety of needles. So it's Halloween coming up, and I got this from Hobbycraft. And I'm going to use this as an aperture to make a pumpkin for Halloween. A needle felted pumpkin. So I'm going to demo a little bit of it, and then I'll probably finish it off camera and then show you the final result, just because it's very time consuming, needle felting. So I've got some green here. Let's get this refocused. I know on a strawberry that the thing is called a calyx on the top of it. Don't know if it's called this calyx on a pumpkin. But you don't need much material with needle felt. You've got to be clever about how you use it. So this is what I would detail stuff. So you just literally you poke it in just like this, and because this has got an outline on it, gives you something to follow. But if you're doing it on a blank like an egg, that's where your sort of creative, your artistic creative-y, freedom-y stuff comes in. Can you see here? I have to get this to refocus. Right, if you see here how these fibres are going into the polystyrene, that's how it attaches. What happens is, because the barbs on the needle, this again is a barbed needle, it knits the wool together, essentially. The very first time I tried it, I was making a little Santa gnome thing, and I didn't think it had worked. I was just like putting the needle into this fibre over and over, and I was like, this isn't working. And then I sort of felt it and realised it had gone quite solid, and realised it had worked. So I was quite amazed. If I do this now, you can see that's attached. Which is why using aperture, especially if you're a beginner, is something I would really recommend. I'm totally for using your own ideas, for being creative artistically and trying to do stuff. But just as one person who struggled a little bit at the beginning to people who may be trying this for the first time, these apertures are a great way to start. One, you stab yourself a lot less than when you're just doing it with your fingers. I stabbed myself so many times. So many, people wonder why I'm always covered in scratches. It's half crafting, half I've got 3 cats. But now this bit is pretty much attached, this is where we start working it in properly. And we can speed up a little bit. The fastest way you can break your needle is going in at an angle. Do not go in at an angle, you want to be up and down. Move your piece, not the needle. Trust me, because I've broken so many needles. One, I really stabbed myself quite badly in my thumb. It went in about that far through the needle, like about a quarter of the needle into my thumb. It was extremely painful, and I was not very happy for some time because it hurt. If you don't like polystyrene, you're buggered. I know some people really hate the feel, the texture, the sound of polystyrene. It's never bothered me, so I'm fine. But if it does, then go with pipe cleaners. Pipe cleaners are great because you can make them any shape. So that's pretty much attached now. You can see here, and we're going to go ahead and finish this this green part, I think, and then I'll do the rest off camera. Let's see. You if you've got any experience with polymer clay, that's going to help, because a lot of this stuff you can do with your fingers. See how I want this to be part of the leafy shape, so just twisting it with my fingers like this is actually that is actually knitting the wool together. It's amazing. So I will lay that down on top of here like this, and all I then have to do is attach it with the needle. And yeah, I've stabbed myself doing this many times. Let's get this sorted. So we're going around the stalk. Is it a stalk when it's a pumpkin? I don't know. I should have researched pumpkins, really. The one place you really don't want to stab yourself is through this bit of your hand, because that hurts a lot. Fingers get over it. And in fact, if you're a sewer like I am, which is why I really got very angry about how easy needle felting was, because I'm a sewer and I've made lots of felt things over the years, and it takes so much time and effort, and this is so quick and easy. I buy most of my needle felting wool from Boys. I think it's about £7 for a 6-pack. Of like a shade of colours, so you'll get like the white to black pack, which is different shades of grey as well, the green pack, a purple pack, a red pack, and so on. But also Hobbycraft sell little individual packets, and they do sell like colour packets as well, but they sell little individual packets of wool, so you can buy the individual ones that you want, but you don't get as much in Hobbycraft as what you do in Boys. So if you live in the UK and you're wanting to get into this, Boys is a really good place to get your material from, because it's cheaper than Hobbycraft. But, you know, Hobbycraft, you get your loyalty points, so 6 and 2/3 really. Right. So there's a few gaps, but that's more or less covered now, and that's done. That was done in a few minutes. So what I want to just show you, oopsie daisies, before I try and finish this off, is if you're wondering about how to use the pipe cleaners, very simple. We'll do with the Giraffe, because it's a really simple shape. It's all pipe cleaners. It's no eggs. I would start with the head like that. Neck. I'd make the little leggies like this, and then the body. You get a second pipe cleaner because this was need a second one. Oopsie daisies. This is a good thing about pipe cleaners, is they're very versatile, very easily manipulated. So that's your basic Giraffe aperture, and then if you wanted to expand on that a little bit, what you could do is twist that around there, that around there, to make the head a little more standy outy, and you could get little bits to attach to do the ears. You can basically do what you want. It's very easy with just a pair of scissors. And it really doesn't matter what colour you use. I just happened to pick up a packet of black ones and just used all black ones because they were cheaper. But that is the aperture for the Giraffe. If you don't like polystyrene, you just want to use pipe cleaners. And like, that's the method that I used for this. Because the Giraffe's skinny, I've just used the single pipe, but this I sort of made it like a cage. Like I made the head and the body, and then like attached the wing. There was about 10 pipe cleaners in this somewhere. But yeah. So I'm going to finish this pumpkin, and I will see you when I have completed it. So we're back, and this is the final product of my pumpkin needle felting. It needs a few touch-ups just around the eyes and a few spots around the mouth. It needs a little bit more felt adding to it. But this is the general result. And the reason that this is, I wasn't really working in the greatest of light. I was working in my kitchen where it's a bit dim and the light's not very good. And this is actually now under my crafting lamp, so I can see the mistakes and the mistakes. And I can see the areas that just need filling in a little bit. But this is the result of the pumpkin aperture, which I'm very happy with. I think it's very cute. I'm thinking about doing like a Halloween tree this year for Halloween, like a Christmas tree, but Halloween-y themed. So I'm looking to get some different decorations and see what I can do. I want to thank you very much for watching this video. Please consider liking and subscribing. On the run up to Christmas, there's going to be a whole lot more crafting stuff because I go crafting crazy at Christmas. So thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.